Welcome everyone to our COABE webinar today. I'm excited to be with you. I'm the host of the webinar today, Steve Schmidt. I'm the COABE Professional Development Coordinator, and I'm excited to see everyone who's flooding in to today's webinar to hear from Slangman. And thank you so much for being here. Just a few housekeeping things before we send it over to David. I know a number of people have done this already. If you haven't yet, please introduce yourself in the chat. We love to know where you're from. And thank you for doing that. If you do have questions, please don't hesitate to put those in the Q&A. And we will have time during our session today for David to answer those questions. So please put any chat you'd like to do inside the chat, any questions inside the Q&A. Well, I am thrilled to turn things over here in just a second to Slangman, also known as David Burke. Have known David for several years and was very privileged to attend his session last year at COABE, which brought the house down and was standing room only, and the evaluations were off the charts. And he really got me thinking a lot about English language instruction, and especially, are we really teaching students the language that's actually spoken? And that was something I hadn't really thought about. But he has thought quite a bit about it. And I'm really excited to have him present for us today. And so, just one other housekeeping point, you will receive a certificate for attendance 24 hours after the end of our session today. So, and again, please put any questions inside the Q&A, and we'll have a chance to get to that. Introduce yourself if you have not yet. So, David, Slangman, thank you so much for being here today and presenting our session. And the floor is all yours.
Good slang. You did that for me, right? I have
Of
the
course,
floor. That was
of
for me.
course.
Thank you, Steve. See, we don't even realize when we're using slang or idioms. It's just so natural. First of all, thank you all so much for being here. We've got quite the crowd. Please let me know if I know you, or even if you've heard of me before. I've been to COABE twice. I only learned about COABE a few years ago. I'm ashamed to say. I've been doing all the TESOL conferences and CCAEs and finally learned about COABE, and you are certainly absolutely my people. So I'm thrilled to be here. So let's get the ball rolling, as we say in slang. Let me share a screen with you just to give you an idea if you don't know who I am. And again, in the chat, if you've heard of me, just say, I've heard of you. If you haven't, that's okay, because I don't think you'll forget me after after this. Hopefully not, and hopefully in a good way. Okay, so I'm going to put this right here in front of me. So there we go. I'm hoping you can see that, right? You can see top 10 ways to teach idioms and slang, right?
David, what we see is your website, and you moved the
That,
your slides off the screen just a second ago.
I'm glad you told me that. That's pretty odd. Let's see. 10 top ways. Okay, let me know if this is better.
Yes,
Now can you see?
we can see your slides now, but they're not in like a slide view. They're just like we can.
Right, that's just so I can kind of move around, move the cursor around. So you
Okay,
can
yeah,
kind
but
of, you
we
can,
can
you kind
see
of,
it loud and clear now.
okay, that's great. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to have some fun here. And for those of you who don't know me, let me explain who I am and why I'm here and why I'm the right person to be here and write these books on slang and idioms, which I'll explain. So, first of all, as we know, in English, there are two parts of English. There's the academic English part, you got to know that. Then there's the other part, idioms and slang. It's like teaching someone how to use the accelerator, but not teaching them how to use the brake. It's that important. Slang and idioms is a part, an active part, a changing part of our language. There's a part of slang and idioms that never does change. But then there's that other side of it that does. And I know how to handle it because in all my books, the videos update every single day, which I'll explain. So let me tell you a little bit about who I am. Oh yeah, most important, it's fun too. And there's nothing better than getting the students to have fun and motivated. Once they're motivated, You've got them in your back pocket. So who am I? Okay, so I am called Slangman David Burke. Um, I have to emphasize Slangman. The reason I emphasize that, I was on CNN, international news, about 5 years ago, and they handed the speaker, the host, one of my books, and he didn't look at the cover, but the producer told him, "Our next guest is Slangman." He misheard it, and he got really excited. I mean, I couldn't understand why he was so excited to talk to Slangman. Well, he introduced me on live international TV and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a really exciting, interesting author with us. He is called Slime Man. He writes books on slime." Yeah. So there I was, coming out, having to explain to him that's not slime, that's slang. I'm called Slang Man. I don't write books on slime, I write books on slang. And he goes, "Oh, okay, what about it?" So the time of death of that interview was 10:01 in the morning. So I am an author of slang books. Make no mistake. My books, Sepher, B1 to C2. It's the first and actually only series for the classroom on idioms and slang, because I take slang and idioms very seriously, and I'll explain why. So I've got textbook, workbook, teacher's guide, and assessments. And this is the Street Speak series. Every day, slang and idioms used by all ages. There's a video inside, updates every day. That's the newest slang that some of your students may be bringing to you. The other series I have is the Biz Speak. So if you teach business English, workplace English, this is really a fun series. Like what Steve said, you have the floor. Well, you say that to someone who doesn't know English really well, they may be kind of confused. So this is packed full of idioms and slang. In fact, the cover, you'll see some guy right here. He is pounding the pavement. Of course, that's business slang. Let's get cracking. We have so much slang that we use in business and really in everyday life as well. So that's the Biz Speak series. All the books have dozens and dozens, probably more than 70 audio programs and videos. And I'm really proud of the videos. Like I mentioned, the main video updates every single day. So if I hear something on social media, I see something on TV, hear something strange, I will let my students know through my book. So that one video changes all the time. And when you do get my books, you'll see there's a QR code, which I'll show you. So the students have access to all the audio, all the videos. Also, I don't just sell you a book. I don't just sell it and go bye-bye. No, I support it. So in my Slangman ecosystem, you'll have access to my podcast, Slang and the City, with my wonderful co-host, Roberta. There is a podcast. I'm also going live twice a day, 2 hours each time, every single day, on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. You can tell your students about that. Just look for Slangman. They have free courses on slang and idioms. Of course, I give them little bits and pieces every single day, but nothing will replace an actual course that you teach. They need the teacher behind them. Okay, why me? Why am I the one? Why did I write books on slang? I mean, most parents hope their sons grow up to be doctors or attorneys. There aren't a lot who think, "Gee, I hope he grows up to write books on slang." Well, I did, and here's why. I am an ESL student in reverse. And let me explain. So in my family, there are a lot of languages that we speak because my parents are from Europe. So there were 7 languages that I grew up with. And French was the one that really got to me. So I really started speaking fluent native French at a very early age. So I went to visit some family in France, but my father spoke to me and my twin sister in academic French. And that was great. I passed every single test in school. But the test I failed was the real life one. So I go to France. I'm with my cousins, my aunt, my uncle. And during dinner, this is what happened. Again, we are educators. I'm going to tell you something that happened because it's better that it happened to me and not to your students. So I run up the stairs. The first day I'm there, I was out in Paris all day long. I didn't want to be late for dinner. It was at 7 o'clock. I dart up the stairs, and when I sit at the table, my aunt is there, my uncle is there, the cousins are there, and I'm fanning myself. And my aunt says in French, "Oh, what's wrong, David?" And I accidentally used some slang without knowing it. And I said, "I am in great heat for your body." Turns out in French, you can't say I am hot. You have to say I have heat. I think the same thing in Spanish, right? Tengo calor. Same thing in French. J'ai chaud. You can't say je suis chaud. I am hot. No, can't say that. Then my uncle, he said to me a word that I hadn't heard before. I, I was brought up to say in French, bonjour, which is, hello. We've all heard that, right? Well, he said something new. He said, salut. And that threw me. And I said something in slang to him. I said, oh, salut. Turns out, salut and salut are different. I called him a dirty, slithering bastard by accident. With a really good accent, he said. That's what kind of shocked him. But then to top it all off, at the end of dinner, my aunt said, David, would you like some more food? And I said, proudly in my Parisian accent, no, thank you, because I am extremely pregnant. Turns out in French, you cannot say, I am full. Je suis plein. No, it means I'm a big, fat, pregnant dog. And this is a slang way to say it. So that's why slang is so important. And the last thing I put on here is surprised Spain. So I now live part-time in the United States. And as of only 5 months ago, I live here. I'm in Valencia, Spain. I came here not knowing any Spanish whatsoever. Nothing. Now I can have conversations, but I made some mistakes, exactly the kind of mistakes that your students will make in English if they don't know slang. For example, I needed a nightstand with 3 big drawers. Now, for those of you who speak Spanish, I think you already know where I'm going with this. And this word is just not fair to us non-native speakers of Spanish. I went into a furniture store and with my best Valenciano accent, I said, necesito una mesita. I need a nightstand. A tres grandes, with 3 big. So the word for drawers, as you Spanish speakers know, is, I'm going to do this wrong, cajones. And yes, by accident, I said cojones. And I couldn't understand why the woman was laughing and laughing and laughing because I asked for a nightstand with 3 huge testicles. It's better that it happened to me and not to your students. So moving on, in France, for my own survival, I wrote these books without realizing they're going to be commercial books. I wrote down on my arm, on napkins, every bit of slang that I was hearing because I realized if I don't know slang, I do not know the language, period. If you don't know slang, you don't know the language. Yes, you can pass a test. That's fine, but you want to integrate, right? So when I got back to the United States, I put all the words that I wrote down on my hand, on my arms, on my napkins, and I put them into a book called Street French. And it's sold to John Wiley and Sons in New York. They're the 2nd largest publisher in New York. So Street French is going well. They then asked me to write a book called Street Spanish. And I said, well, I don't really speak Spanish. Sure, I'll do it because I had a formula. So I brought people together to create Street Spanish and Street Italian, Street German. It's a formula so I can do this with any language. But the reason I started writing books on American slang, why it's the reason why I think I'm the right person for this, because I'm living it for one thing, is that I'm at the gym with a French friend of mine named Pascal. And someone walks up to Pascal and says, hey, Pascal, what's up? And I'm waiting for Pascal to answer. And he takes a step back and starts checking out the ceiling. I said, oh, no, Pascal, that's just American slang. It's like saying what's cooking, what's shaking, what's going down. And he looked at me like, what? But then to make matters worse, his friend said to him, so, Pascal, did you hear how the Italian soccer team licked the French team? When his mouth dropped open, I suddenly got the visual that he was getting. And I said, no, that's American slang. That just means to beat someone in a competition, to lick them. That's why you've got this dog here I found with his big tongue out. So I suddenly got this idea, kind of a brainstorm, to use a slang word. Why aren't I writing books on American slang? Because it was so natural to me. I didn't realize how much slang we're using. So I run home and tell my mom, Ma, I'm going to start writing books on American slang. And she said, American slang? David, we don't use that much slang. Come on. And I said, come on, Ma. That's slang. And she goes, no way. Ma, that's slang. And then she goes, oh, David, please knock it off. Slang, Ma. And she goes, you know, maybe we do use a lot of slang. And yes, we do. At CoAbe last year, this happened to me. And if you are out there, the teacher that I met, that I absolutely fell in love with, if you're out there in the ether out there, uh, definitely send a wave or something. So a teacher came up to me and she said, with all my books out there that everyone could see, and maybe if you were at CoAbe last year or the year before you saw the books, she said, people like you really make me angry. She said, how dare you destroy our language? Like I'm personally destroying the language. She said, we should keep our language pure, pure English. We should not uh, uh, pepper it with slang and with idioms. It should be pure. And then she said, I would never ever use slang, and people like you who use slang piss me off. She said that to me. And I said, you do realize you just use slang, right? Now, at this point, by the way, I forgot to mention, there must have been 50, 60 people around my booth because she was that loud. So we became friends actually because she realized at that moment we do use a lot of slang. So, like I say, if you don't know idioms and slang, you, my dramatic moment here, you don't know English or whatever language you're studying. It's part of the language. So, what happens if your students don't learn idioms and slang? Because it happened to me. I was really angry with my French teacher. I was frustrated and angry because I spent a lot of time taking French courses only to pass a test and not to be able to speak with the people. And we don't want them to be angry and frustrated. We want your students to integrate, have a feeling of belonging, and nothing does that more than learning how the people actually speak, right? Okay, so what is slang? A lot of people don't know what it actually is. In fact, Outlook, the mail server, didn't know what it was about 20 years ago. They thought slang meant dirty words. It does not. Are dirty words slang? Yes. Is slang dirty words? No. It's just informal language. Slang is informal language spoken by members of a particular group used to establish group identity and exclude outsiders. And an idiom, of course, is just a group of words, each having their own meaning, but together they have one collective meaning: to put someone up for the night. I just wanted to underscore, slang is not dirty. My books are 100% clean. I do have a book coming out called Bleep. That's a different story. But I always tell students, do not use these words, but you have to know them for your own survival. So on that note, I am the author of these books, as I mentioned. In fact, what I'm going to ask Steve to do, now that I've kind of explained why I'm here and why I'm the guy that you're going to want to know, Steve, could you show this quick video? It's about 3.5 minutes long. It'll explain the entire series to you in a fun video kind of a way, and then I can come back and take you through a chapter as if you were actually teaching a
Yes, I would be happy to do that. Absolutely. Could you stop sharing so I can share?
honor. Oh, yes, yes, yes. There you
Okay,
go, Steve.
perfect. Perfect, perfect.
Great.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're having some sound issues, and let's see, I am unable to share sound. What I would, and my apologies, David.
You know
Perhaps
what?
you can,
I think what I
perhaps
could do,
instead you could do this with the non-video way.
well, you know what, Steve, let's try something here. I've got an idea. There's a way that I can actually share with sound. Should we see if it works? Because it
Yeah,
worked last.
go ahead and give it a shot.
Give it a shot. See, Steve, you
There we
just
go.
never
Yeah,
you never
I'm feeding into
disappoint.
this.
Oop, oop, oop. Oops. My video just started without sharing. Okay, let's go ahead and share. This time I'm going to share and press the button that says share sound. Well, would you look at that? I don't think it's going to let me.
Yeah, that
I
was the
don't think
exact
it.
same issue that I was having. So,
Oh, it doesn't let you share sound anymore. Okay, that's okay. How about that? Isn't that strange? Okay then.
well, you're always better in person than in the video anyway.
Oh, aren't you nice? Okay, then you know what? What I could actually do, you know what? That's okay. Yeah, we're gonna pass that. We don't need it after all. So we'll go through an entire chapter without it. So what I'm going to do at this point is go grab that our shared doc, put that back over there. I'm going to share my screen, and let's see if I do this right again this time. And you should be able to see my screen. Am I right?
Can see your screen and can see Street Speak One.
Fantastique. Okay, great. Okay, so let's say you have a class where you're teaching idioms and slang. And by the way, I'm going to totally brag. UCLA, they had 5 courses called the Slangman courses, 5 courses on idioms and slang, because for them, they said it was a separate revenue stream. Every student wants to know idioms and slang. They know what they don't know. They know the reason they can't understand us, the reason they can't understand any TV show or movie or the music that they love so much or the internet. It's because they don't know our idioms and slang. So it's always a really popular course. And it's fun too. Again, it's fun. All right, so can you tell? This is how I always like to, when I talk to students, I like to show them the cover and ask them if they can guess the idiom on the front. Now, they probably haven't heard this idiom before, but some of you teachers may have. So all the illustrations in my books are both literal and figurative. So here's a guy who's literally being blasted out of a cannon, and he's having a really good time. So I think you already know to have a blast. So every single book cover has an idiom that's a little tricky to figure out unless you gather the students together and kind of have them break it down. And of course, I give the answer on the first page of the book. Okay, when your students open their books, they will see a QR code. With that QR code, they simply fill out a form with their name and email. It's the same form I'm going to be giving you access to. I'm giving you all free access to all my books, free, 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 so you can preview them, all of them. You'll have access to the videos, the audio programs, everything. And you'll also have access to me. I'm always here to answer questions for you. Okay, that QR code, same thing. They fill it out. They will get, they'll be taken first to a form. They fill it out. They'll be given a link. They choose their own username, their own password, and then they're in the Slangman e-library where they have access to everything. Okay, so here is how the book is set up. All the books are in the same format, exact. Student, what the first thing is the warm-up. Now, what I love about this, as someone who loves languages, when you get to a dialogue in slang, that's what the students want, and that's coming up on the next page. We want to get, oh, Steve, I just got a notification that said connection unstable. Are you still with me, Steve? I didn't lose you,
Yeah,
right?
still with you. You were unstable for a minute, but we can hear you loud and clear now.
Okay, great, great. As long as it didn't say unstable personality, we're okay. Okay, so we want to get to the dialogue, and it's kind of scary when the student gets to the dialogue and they can't understand anything. I find that a little scary. Deflating. So before we get to the dialogue, here's what we're going to do. Warm up. Again, it's Air Street Speak one, same exact format. So let's warm up. So with a let's warm up, every single you see here, and I'm going to do a close-up view so you can really see it. is reflected in this warm-up. For example, number one is the number one illustration, number two is the number two illustration, etc. So let's take a look at number one so you can actually see it very clearly. Hopefully that's nice and big on your screens. Okay, so we're going to get them used to all the words they're going to see in the upcoming dialogue. That way it won't be unfamiliar, right? So don't get so upset. Get a grip. Now, based on the illustration, do you think get a grip means leave me alone or get control of your emotions? Well, let's take a look at illustration number one. So get a grip. So he's literally gripping himself. And I don't think it means leave me alone. And if, of course, you can have some fun with your students as you get them to tell you what they think it means. Of course, it means get control of your emotions. Let's try another one. I can't believe Nancy crashed my party. So does crashed my party mean drove to my party or came to my party uninvited? Let's look at number two. Well, there it is. Nancy has crashed the party. Well, obviously, looks like she rammed the wall and went in with her car and she's ready to party, but she was not invited. So each of these words that we're going to see in the dialogue are reflected here. We'll try one more because I just love this illustration. Number 12, I'm not inviting Paul to my party. He really bugs me. And of course, as a teacher, you want to kind of act that out. He really bugs me. No, they're not going to get it. He really bugs me. So it gives you an opportunity to kind of shine, get the actor, the actress out of you. I'm not inviting Paul to my party. He really bugs me. Bugs me means makes me laugh or annoys me. Well, 12. He really bugs me. Obviously, really annoys me. So once we go through all of these words, and again, I want you to notice there's an answer key here. Okay. The answer key is in the textbook. Your students, let's face it, even if they look up the answer, so what? Now they got it right. Now they know the answer. You can always tell the students, let's not look at the answer key until the end of each chapter. Let's just make a deal. We're not going to look at it. But if they do, truth is, so what? They now know the answer. All right, so now we know what every single word means. I give you about 12 idioms or slang words in each dialogue. Now we're going to go to the dialogue. Now, I don't know about you, but I hate looking up things in the back of the book. If I don't know a word, I don't want to go to the index, go to the index. It drives me really crazy. It's just one of those things I hate. So what I've done here is kind of give you a broad stroke. The dialogue in slang is on the left. On the right is the dialogue translated in academic English, so the students don't have to look it up. It's right there. Okay, now I'm going to zoom back out. So here we have a party scene, because this chapter is at the party. I think I forgot to mention that. At the party, which can be used for anytime you meet somebody, at a party, at a coffee shop, anywhere at all. So let's go to the left side first. Every single dialogue, every exercise, you will see headphones and track. That way, the students get to hear native speakers speaking. The first time they're going to hear the dialogue, right here, it's spoken rather slowly on purpose, and you'll see why. So you'll actually hear Debbie say, I don't know why I let you invite me to, I'm sorry, I don't know why I let you convince me to come here. I hate parties. And Becky says, would you get a grip? Don't be such a party pooper. This is going to be a blast, etc. Slowly, but with the slang. Now I'm going to zoom out for a second and show you the next page. Then we are going to come back here. There are two tracks I give you. The fast track, if you have a shorter course, maybe it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, you can do the fast track. That is and now we go through the dialogue, and you might even want to have two students can team up and read the dialogue out loud. Another two students. Oh, internet connection is unstable. There. Okay, I think I'm back again. Okay, now I did this next dialogue on a whim, and it turned out to be the teacher's favorite part and the students. This is the same dialogue you just saw and heard. This time I decided, I'll write it the way we actually speak it. Because these audio programs are put in such a way that you can change the speed. And I personally love to speed them up until they sound way too fast and then speed them back to normal speed and they sound slow. So with this one, you actually hear the dialogue and read it as if it were to be spoken by a native speaker. Debbie and Becky are attending a party. Debbie says, I don't know why I let you convince me to come here. I hate parties. And I don't know is really, of course, that's really popular. Would you get a grip? Don't be such a party pooper. This is going to be a blast. Now, in my live streams I do on social media, this is exactly what I talk about. There are some teachers out there who talk about pronunciation of academic English, and they do really well. My live streams are very different. I explain the academic way to say it, and then frankly, the real way you're going to hear it. Okay, so the fast track would then be, we continue and let students read this as if they were a native speaker, explaining this is not how it's written. Sure, sometimes we do see D-U-N-N-O for, I don't know. And by the way, what's much more popular now, you'll see it in social media, I-O-N-O. I don't know. Much more popular now. Okay, and then would ya? We see that even in written form. But to come here, I let you convince me to come here. Yeah, we don't see that written. You can explain that to the students that this is simply how we speak. Okay, let's say you want to do the long track. So we go back to the dialogue, and I'm really proud of this part. Every single idiom, every single slang word is represented up here. So now we get to go back here. Got a longer course. This is really fun. You ask the students, okay, let's go back here, and we see that Becky is saying, would you get a grip? I'm going to back off. Now, which is the person who really needs to get a grip because they're getting really annoyed? They are really ticked off. Well, this guy right here would be a good one. He's a good suspect, right? Would you get a grip? Go back out here. And of course, you can also expand it more. Ask the students, give me another sentence with get a grip, a situation where you would tell someone to get a grip. So they can expand and expand, which I love. That's an exciting part. It makes the students use their own imagination and use the slang in context with their own sentences. Again, don't be such a party pooper. This is going to be a blast. Okay, which one here looks like a party pooper? Who's kind of not having fun? Well, you know what? This guy's not having fun. He looks like a party pooper. And what did I just say? Oh, it's going to be a blast. Who's having an absolute blast? Well, this guy's having a pretty good blast. Now, there could be more than one answer. Sure, this guy looks like a party pooper because he is. And this one also looks like a party pooper. So you might want to ask the students, okay, why did you choose one over the other? It just makes the room open up for conversation. That's what we want. We want your students to converse. And by the way, teachers, I'm so sorry. Conversate is now in the dictionary. Yes, it is. Conversate. It's in there now. Sorry. Last year, it got entered into the dictionary. I used to tell students, don't say that word now. Well, what are you going to do? Moving on. Once the students now understand the dialogue, remember, because we did the warm-up, when they go to the dialogue, they understand it, and that really feels good. There's nothing more exciting than your students' class actually having looked at a whole dialogue, and then when they hear the slang or the idiom, well, then it's like a really big celebration because now they're understanding like a native would speak. What I then do in all the books, I have a little symbol here called, I'll make sure you can see that. I know it's kind of small. There we go. More on Slangman TV. They'll have a link for that. Okay, I'm going to pause. It said internet unstable. Okay, I paused for a second. Okay, now we're back. Again, I'm in Spain and we're having a little issue with our internet, but at least according to Steve, you're hearing me loudly and clearly. So we used didja. In every lesson in Street Speak 1, I go into contractions and reductions and explain, why do we say ya? Why do we say did you, didja? Or let you, letcha? What's the difference and why do we do it? So I explained it in detail in a really fun video. And after I do that, then I let the students actually practice or rehearse it. Track 3. Again, these are all on audio. And that is, as you know, it's critical. We don't want the students to speak like this even when they are speaking slang. Hey, what's up? No, hey, what's up? Or sup. We want them to use contractions and reductions, or at least understand them. Again, the point of idioms and slang is not necessarily to make your students use them, but it's to make sure they understand them. Critical. Again, I'm living it right now. So here we talked about did you? They can practice it. Number 1, what did you do? What does that mean? What did you do or what did you do? Well, what did you do? What did you do? In the audio, I explain even more. What'd you do? More contractions, more reductions, because the trend in slang is to shorten everything. And you teachers know that from the phrase I do not know to I don't know to I don't know to I don't know to and that is popular because of the music. I don't know. We don't even need the words. It's funny. Language is such a miracle, right? And it feels like we're going backwards. Now there's more grunting than there are words sometimes. Teens, they're creating new ways to communicate. Okay, then we move forward into the vocabulary. The vocabulary, to me, is exciting because these are the words they just learned in the dialogue, but I give them a lot more. We take a deep dive now. So, to have a blast, I always give another context example. Again, it's all on audio. They get to really practice this. And by the way, the workbooks, I'm going to invite you to see everything. My gift to you. So you can really preview everything. The workbooks are the homework assignments. Look, I know that you teachers are really busy. I don't want you to have to recreate a homework assignment. There are homework assignments in the workbooks based on this, the vocabulary section, based on the dialogue, based on every section of the book. So take a walk, take a stroll, go to the beach, go to the lake. You can have some free time. I've done the work for you. Okay, so to have a blast, we use it in context once again, and then I offer variations. To have a blast, to be a blast, a synonym, to have a ball. This next one, to bug someone. I love this one because it's so varied. To bug someone. Again, context example, translation, and then I always show you that sample sentence in real speak. It's critical. Let's take a quick look. Example, every time my aunt comes to visit, she criticizes me about the way I wear my hair. She really bugs me. Well, same sentence, bugs me is annoys me. Real speak, it's not every, it's every time my aunt comes to visit, she criticizes me about the way I wear my hair. She really bugs me. So I always offer the real speak. Then synonyms, to drive someone crazy, to get on someone's nerves. And this can be also extra credit if they want to do those, or if you want to assign those particular pages of the workbook. There's a whole section of synonyms from here that they can practice as well. To get under someone's skin, to rub someone the wrong way. My favorite, I don't know why this is my favorite, but it is to work someone's last good nerve. I just think that's a funny one. So the vocabulary section is all in idioms log plus. Now, I was the kind of student where I wanted more because when a student sees this, they don't want to be left out. Fear of missing out, FOMO. Pardon me. They don't want that. What they don't know. More vocabulary. And then after the vocabulary, after the vocabulary, we then practice it. We get to practice everything they just learned from the dialogue. Wait, the internet connection's unstable. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, I think I'm back. Okay, let's take a look at the practice again. Track six. Answers are on page 213. Every book has the answer key. Really important. So, for example, this is the context exercise section. Makes sense or doesn't make sense? And this part's kind of easy for the students. They just have to say, yeah, does it make sense or does it not make sense? Did you have fun at the party? Yes, I had a blast. Well, that makes sense. I'm so upset. Get a grip. You need to relax. That does make sense. Bob is so unattractive. I know he's such a hottie. We hear hottie all the time. That doesn't make sense. So this is just a fun exercise to get the students to have some laughs, and they laugh because of the illustrations and the sample sentences. I try to make them funny whenever I can, and I do that for you, the teacher, also. I think you can tell by now my style, my sense of humor. I'm pretty energetic, and I want the class and the book. All the books have to be fun, not just for the students. I do a lot of nods to the teacher. In fact, I have one section, it's like a Mad Lib that's called the Bichon Moan Gazette. Well, Bitch and Moan Gazette. Only a teacher might get that, but a student wouldn't. I try to do things for you, the teacher, so you can have a giggle with me and always be entertained. And again, because the main video updates all the time, you will never know what you're going to be seeing, but it's all clean. Just always know that. Always, always. These exercises here, choose the right word. Why are you so happy, relaxed, upset? I think you need to get a grip. Obviously, why are you so upset? So this is how we lock in the information with the students. And again, each book is laid out the same way. Moving on. After the exercises, I always give you the Slangman files. Let me do a close-up of that. So the Slangman files is more of the same category, more slang words, more idioms in that category here. It's at a party. So obviously I can't put all the slang words for at a party, to break the ice. I mean, there's so many slang words for meeting somebody for the first time. I can't put them all into one dialogue, so I have to put them here. And the exercises for these are only in the workbook. To bring down a party, to drink up, costume party, to dance the night away. And that's a really interesting one too. I explained that one in detail more on Slangman TV. So when the students click on that, they'll get a video where I explain the pronunciation in real speak. And this is a strange one. I've had students ask me about this. For example, Kristen's birthday party was great. It was great. Everyone had the best time. We don't say best time. Everyone had the best time. We all danced the night away. We all danced the night away. Now, we hear, a native speaker, we hear a D. We all danced the night away. We don't say that. So I explain very clearly in the video why we say we all danced the night away. It's the way we hear it, which is really interesting. Even though that D is not there for danced, it's how we hear it. So again, this section, Slangman, the Slangman files, is at the end of every single chapter. So then what I have an updated version of Street Speak 1. I did put in lingo leaders of the year. What I'm going to do now, which you'll find in the new books this month, this last page, I'm pretty excited about it. I struggled with the title of this book. Street Speak 1, easy. The subtitle, Popular American Slang and Idioms. Well, then the Canadians were telling me, well, that's not really fair. What about us? Why don't you say North Slang idioms? So say, don't use American slang. Sorry, and we're part of North America. So now the subtitle will be Popular American Idioms and Slang. But this page right here is going to have the top slang story from, of course, we just saw that in files and in the dialogue. Here, I'm going to have the top slang terms just for fun from England, from Canada, because there are a lot of slang terms that are different in Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Oh, internet connection unstable again. I'm so sorry about that, you guys. There. think we're back. So this is going to be a really fun page. Uh, you know, we we want to be informed, and our slang isn't the only slang. It's according to the internet, it's the most important slang because the internet itself is in American English. But I want people to know that there are other ways to say things in other English-speaking countries. Okay, moving on. I want you to write this down. I want you to have free access to all my books. My gift to you for 2026, Slangman. This is a 2 week review period. If you need more, I'll send you a link automatically that says you want more time. I, I'm very generous with my copies for you teachers because I want you to use my books. Of course I do. I want you to have a course on idioms and slang because I know how important it is. I don't want your students to feel sad and lonely like I did in France for way too long because I couldn't fit in. So go to tinyurl.com/slangman-copies, all lowercase. And see, you got that? tinyurl.com/slangman-copies. If you have any questions ever, please write to me. I'm very available to you. I want you to be part of my ecosystem, and I want to show you what I mean by that. I'm going to share, let's see, how can I do this? Okay, David@slangman.com. I want to share one last thing with you. Got that? David@slangman.com. Write that down, David. It's pretty easy, right? Okay, so I'm going to stop the share for 1 second, and there is what I'm going to do. I'm going to reshare real quick. Let's see, where is my website? Oh, there it is. There's the website. Okay, so you should be able to see that now. Okay, great. This is my website, the Slangman website, slangman.com. And I'm showing this to you for a couple of reasons. One, let's make sure that, there we go. Okay, there's the homepage. You'll see me pop up. As long as I pop up, you'll know that it's working just right. I should be popping up right here. Okay. Okay, obviously there's some internet something going on right now. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, at least it is moving. You'll see a tab here called Teachers. This is the Teachers Vault. I urge you to take a look here under Teachers, go to slangman.com. When you click on Slangman Introduces the Series, this is the thing we couldn't get to work for some reason. You click on that. Oh, what's this webinar poll? Oh, okay then. Oh, I like that. I guess I should take a look at this, right? Okay, I'm going to move this over. A poll just came out. Okay, so when you click on Teachers, there's a video there. Please do take a look at the video. It explains the entire series, and also in Teachers is a teacher's guide. I just completed this last month. I'm going to actually update it within the next week. This will take you through the fast track and the slow track on how to really use the books. And if you have any questions, please, any questions along the way, let me know. I'm going to just share that one more time. There we go. Okay. If you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. I'm always here available for you. And I hope you enjoyed what I've got. I hope you enjoyed the books. They're yours to take a look at. If you need to see them for longer than 2 weeks, just let me know. There'll be a button where you can let me know. And at this time, do you have any questions you may want to ask me? I see there's a big, huge chat thing here on the right. Steve, do you want to guide me through that? Because I can't quite see all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. We did have a question from Shauna, and of course, we still have time and would be happy to take other questions. Shauna was very patient and had asked this early on, and her question is, when do you start teaching an ESL student slang and idioms? When? He says, our program has had a number of students just beginning to learn spoken and written English.
That's a great question, and I've gotten that question so many times. I wrote the books really for B1 and above. But here's the thing, and this really surprised me, I have to tell you. I've had teachers, they beginner slang day. Well, they'll take one of my videos to teach one slang word. And you can have access to all my videos. Write to me, I'll show you how to get there. You can have access to all my videos. If you need to show to your A1 group, internet connection unstable, I hope you can still hear me. Okay. I'm happy to provide it. So with beginners, what happens is the teachers tell me that they get excited and really motivated. They know that it's academic English that they're learning when they're at an A1, A2 level. They get it, but it's really not what they would prefer. So once you let them know, wait, we know you want to learn slang and idioms, so here's your reward. At the end of the week, there'll be a Slangman Friday video, which will teach you one thing. So yes, it's really B1 and above, because you have to know some English. You have to have some English under your belt, as we say. But for way beginners, it's just a motivator. So Slangman Fridays is the way you'd want to use that. Any other
Thank you.
questions?
We have another question from Cindy, and she said, "Can we share this info with other ESL teachers at my school?"
Can you? Let me think about that. Do I want other people to see it who might want to use it? Yes, of course I do. Yes, yes, yes. 1000%. All you have to do, send them to that tinyurl.com/slangman-copies. Tell them to sign up. Yes, I'm glad you asked that too. I want you all to feel free. Of course, it's better for me as a publisher. I am a publisher and an author, so it supports me in being able to grow the series and give you more and more. And I do not want your students to feel the way I did, because there was a time in France where I actually I had such depression for 2 weeks, thinking I studied French for all this time, I was spoken to French for all this time, and I know nothing. So I don't want your students to ever feel like that. So yes, please share it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Well, Cindy was glad to hear that. Question from Cheryl. It says, "Do you think that you'll ever produce a version for newcomer students?" She says, "These materials you showed are good for intermediate and up."
Well, that's really interesting for newcomer students. So you mean when you say newcomer, uh, now I'm guessing, are you from Canada? Are you talking about the Link program, which is, I forgot what that stands for. Learners. It's I forgot what that stands for. Are you with the Link program in Canada for newcomers? And if not,
Cheryl's just, she says she's teaching a beginning class. She says, "I only use a little 5 minute blurb from the chapter a week, usually the first day, then I can refer back to it during the rest of the week." So she's got a beginner class,
oh,
new
gotcha.
speakers.
Okay, gotcha. The only reason I don't have anything for beginners is because truly it's the next level. It's the next step. That's why I say it's really B1. So that's kind of that's my sweet spot, is really like B2 and above, B1, B2, and way above. So I would say again, for your beginner students, just tell them a couple things. One, and it may be too fast for them, my podcast, that's going to be too fast. But here's what will not be too fast. For A1, it's kind of iffy, but on all my social media channels, tell them to look for Slangman, because I really do slow it down. I speak fast, slower than I do right now, of course. So for my broadcasts on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Live, I speak about this fast, and I make sure that everyone understands everything very clearly, academically, and then I move it into the slang category. So for your real beginners, please tell them to check out Slangman.
All right, Sarah asks, "I'm teaching high school or excuse me, she says, I'm teaching high intermediate level. When should I start teaching slang to my ESL students?"
Yesterday, uh, in, and I'm not saying that facetiously, I mean it, right away. And again, slang, so there's no confusion. Slang is clean, unless dirty words are dirty. This is not dirty stuff. This is the only way your students will understand anything. I mean, hey, what's up? So incredibly normal. Thanks. I had a I was doing at school in Los Angeles. And someone asked a question, and I said, "Yep," and all the hands went up, and I said, "What?" It's yep.
Okay, well, I think we've lost David here temporarily, but I want to thank everyone for attending our session today. And it was so good for you to attend. We really appreciate that. I think he is back.
Oh,
I think we
oh
lost
no,
you for about the last minute or so. Um,
no!
so,
I gave you all the winning lottery numbers. Remember, I'm
uh,
6 hours later than you. I've got the. Can you hear? You can hear me now, okay? I hope.
yeah, I can hear you now fine. So if you wanted to
Oh, I'm
go
so
back
sorry.
maybe about a minute
Yeah.
or so.
Um. So my name is David Burke, and I write books on. Okay, too far back.
Oh, a minute.
Yeah, go back an hour. What I was saying was, when I gave a presentation at the Mentor Language Academy. I don't know if you heard this part or not, but when I someone asked me a question and I said yep, and all the hands went up because they said we don't know what a yep is. So all that said, it means you need to teach your students idioms and slang immediately. All the words in my books, as you're going to see, you have access to them, are everyday slang and idioms used by all ages, not just teens. No, it's all ages. All the teen slang is in the video that updates every day. So I would say if you have students who are intermediate or advanced, my gut feeling, I'm just going to say it, it's to do them a disservice if you don't. I was there. I was that student. So please, it's time right away. Even if even if you don't think they're ready, oh, they want to know. They want to know. If you tell someone, like when I was at I went to a conference 2 years ago, and the woman behind the counter helping me at Delta was from Poland, and she got really flustered. And the guy next to her, who was an American, said, "Get a grip. Let me help you." Just like in chapter one, he said, "Get a grip." And she had no idea what that was. So simple things like that. When you tell your students, here's something everybody says, I had a blast. Anybody knows what that means? Or get a grip or get off my case, whatever. They get excited. So please, if you have intermediate students, they're going to love you because they will hear those slang words out in the real world. Yeah. So yeah, teach them, teach them.
All
Any other
right, well,
questions?
that's
Hopefully we're still
yeah.
connected.
We are still connected, and I think we have reached the end of our questions. So just wanted to say thank you so much, David, aka Slangman, for your presentation today. Thank you for being both the sponsor of today's session and the presenter, which is something very unusual for us. We
Well,
want to thank everyone who attended today as well. And just remember that you will receive a certificate and the recording link 24 hours after the close of this session. So thank you all again, and we look forward to seeing you at a future COABE webinar, and certainly look forward to seeing you at COABE in Indianapolis in April. Thank you all so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.